All right, cool. So you guys, I'm here with Marwan, co-founder of RPM, and I'm just showing him off all my paddles as well as, ooh, look at this. We got something new. We got
New,
the
new
the
Q2.
Q2 that just launched. Awesome. So I got a wide body, a 14 and a 16, and then also an elongated 16 I've been testing out. But just wanted to get Marwan's thoughts on kind of the development of this paddle, how it came about, and what he likes about it, any pro tips of the paddle. So let's welcome Marwan. All right.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, so
Cool, cool.
we've been working on this for quite some time, and you know, it's been a pleasure to work with John Kew, and he's had such a hand in the design behind this, and we went through a couple iterations, and I was actually at the factory. I remember the first time that we made the first iteration of this that we really landed on, and this was like that we moved forward with. It was actually like we ended up sending it to Jared from our team, and James just posted like a teaser where you could see Jared's message about like how it felt on court, and it was like a very, very good review. So it started off being called Prototype 3 and ended up being Q2. And yeah, it was like I watched
Fun,
the first one get made. It's that,
fun,
yeah,
fun
that's the one.
fact. I have prototype 3.
That's the one. I remember I was the one right there. I remember even watching them do like the little etch on it after. So it was, and I saw the X-ray back then too. So it was good. And I remember we were even trying out a few different materials that would go inside, like a few of the different types of materials they had in the factory at the time. And I was like being very particular to John Q's recommend or requirements for the densities of the foams that are used inside. So like we were really careful with what to use there and happy with what it came out with. So the feel is special. And we've had positive reviews from everybody. And some people can't even tell it's foam, which I think in this case is a good thing. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got my Q2 paddle. I was using prototype 3 and then actually like I've been liking it a lot. So my coach said I'm way better with my flicks and rolls with it. So that's a high compliment there to the paddles. And I love the color scheme. It's actually not on my alma mater UW there. So it's pretty
oh
cool.
sure,
Yeah.
nice.
So when you're designing this paddle, like what went into like the initial like idea? Is it like, hey, we tried out a bunch of paddles, we want something kind of similar to this, or did you kind of go more tech first with like John Kew's recommendations for that? Like what was the kind of the deciding factors there?
I'd say it was both. There was a lot of discussion between me, James, and John in terms of like what was the general the theme. Well, we were going for a full foam paddle from the start, but like in terms of the theme of how, the internal composition would be, where exactly the foams would be placed. But I think John had, you know, some strong recommendations that we ended up leading with. The thing is, again, we're a company that likes to try a lot of different things personally. And the fact that he's like, we have the benefit of having James, who's like the best paddle tester you could have. So what my plan was, what this was the first time we were testing these in person again. I was in China. So I just wanted to get as many of these like different variations made as possible, which is why you have prototype 3 and a couple different prototypes that we had landed on that we sent back to the US. And yeah, so like we had those ideas. There's a few different variations that we all concluded were good to move forward with, and then stuck with the best one, which is what we're moving forward with now. So yeah, it's basically our logic is always to throw a couple tests on the wall and then land with the one that sticks the best.
Got it. So with this paddle, so I know James had mentioned before that for the Friction Pro is kind of designed as, hey, let's create a paddle that's top notch for the pros, and if it trickles down, it'll trickle down to other people. Was that kind of the same mindset with the Q2, or is it more like user friendly? What
100%.
do you think? Oh,
100%. I think we have wanted to dive into the full foam the Gen 4 field for a while now. And we this is the this is going to be at the same price point as the Friction Pro, as the V2. So it's definitely, it's not like we're telling you, it's pretty self-explanatory from that price point that we're it's not like this is just a full foam that isn't at that peak performance. This is, if you prefer like the full foam experience, if you perform that prefer that type of feel, this is the peak experience while using that type of construction. So I think, I mean, for me, it's a difficult choice now when I go to the court, which one I would use. Like I actually do like the Q2 for I would say it's poppier in my opinion. It's like it's a little bit easier to, as you said, to get like power on the flicks, power on counters. But it's also like a very, very consistent response, and you're able to get the soft, game very easily as well. The V2 is, in my opinion, a dwellier, like just a tad, but like that's just because and maybe it's placebo because it's like a honeycomb paddle. So I like both. I can honestly, I'm telling you, it's tough for me to choose when I'm going on court, which one I play with. But we'll see. I mean, I think even James was like, he plays with the Q2 a couple times, and he's like, man, he's feeling the same way. So it's really, really good.
So I had I heard this random tidbit from James that he was saying that uh actually first off before I ask this, like when you play with James, do you play right side stack with him?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a right sider. No, like
Okay.
I actually have, not to keep monologuing, but like James has persuaded me to be like focusing on being a good right sider
Okay.
because everyone wants to be a left sider. I want to be that best
That
right side
alpha.
gamer.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't say alpha, but
All right. Well, okay. So that being said, I heard this tidbit where James said that right side foam would be good for right side and honeycomb would be good for left side.
hmm,
Is he trying to pigeonhole you into foam then?
maybe, but I still have to get good enough to play a couple tournaments like that. But I think that's, maybe one of his crazier takes. I want to hear his rationale behind it because normally when I hear a statement like that of his, but without hearing the rationale, like I kind of don't get it. But oh, he's calling me right now. But
Should we put him on the call too?
we can put him on the call.
Awesome.
Let me send him the link. One second, let me mute quickly.
All right, so we got a little pause there. This is not staged; it's just live. So we don't know where James is at, but we'll get his takes on the Q2 while we're at it. Look at this. I'll just give the quick little. Ooh, look at that. It'd be like the model RPMs. All right, so
David, I'm so sorry,
no
but
worries.
I had something, I swear to God, something super urgent came up. I have to go.
All
I
right. Well,
I will
it's go.
I'll be
All
back
right.
and continue this later. I'm
All
sorry. I
right.
apologize. Bye
Chat
bye.
later. See ya. All right. So, unfortunately, we lost Marwan to some emergency with James, but he's probably just looking at shipping out paddles for the Q2. But well, let's just go through the my review and take on the paddles and how they play. So, I had their prototype RPM 16 elongated, and I'm personally a wide body user, so I'll primarily stick with the reviews for these since that's kind of what I'm more comfortable with, comparing it with the wide body 14s and 16s over here of the Friction Pro. So let's get into it. Recently, I switched from the 16 millimeter wide body Friction Pro. I gotta cut another one. 16. So I switched to a 14 because it had a little bit faster maneuverability. And so I first went and tested the 14 wide body here, so you can kind of see the like kind of the ball marks there of where it's hitting. And I was really impressed with this one. I I found that comparing the 14 to the 14, so was it? Yeah, the 14 to the 14. The Q2 was a little bit more poppy, but more stable at the same time. So like for off hits, and I didn't weight up this one at all, and it still felt very like stable, like very forgiving, like especially in like kind of firefights when you're countering it. Yeah, it had that nice like dampening effect. I probably would have thrown a little bit of weight down here to give it a little bit more stability even. But I mean, the stock numbers on this paddle are pretty good, right? Like I said, this paddle rocks. Like, but then the numbers behind it really prove that. And as Marwan was talking about, as you're developing it with John Kew, he probably went through and really talked about, well, how do you create a very stable paddle? And that's by basically reducing your swing weight while increasing your twist weight. So that's basically saying, I want the lightest swing possible. So this paddle comes in around 7.7, 7.8, but then it has a high twist weight, meaning even though it's light to swing, the amount of force it takes to hit the side to cause it to twist is high. So it resists twisting a lot, which means it ends up being a much more stable paddle than a lot of other things out on the market. So I definitely noticed that for here. It's like even though it was light at about 7.7, right, it was very stable like when you hit the side. So I mean, I would probably weight it up some more, but playing it stock, it played great. I mean, I had weighted up the 16 elongated and that sweet ideal weight for that. So would I compare it to like a Scorpius, like a, I don't even have that down here. Like I don't have one with me right now, but I mean, Joola has their Gen 3, like Pro 4, a Scorpius. I mean, the Friction Pro was very similar to that, but this one I feel like just takes it to another level where you have, yeah, that like better pop with that stability. So now let's go compare it to the 16. So what's interesting is the sounds of these two paddles are a little bit different. So you have, so that's the 14. And then when you're going to the 16, it's a little bit deeper. But then like the amount of pop that I got on the 16 was a lot higher. So, which is interesting because usually for like honeycomb paddles, the thinner the paddle it is, the more pop you get. But actually for this paddle, like the thicker it was, it actually started off with a lot more pop. So I would probably, yeah, I have to see if it's more of a break-in thing, if that kind of tones down, or if the weight helps it more. But Marwan was saying that, and James was saying that this paddle definitely responds very well to weight. So even as it was stock, right? I, I don't know how it got that amount of pop for uh, the the weight of it, but just to know, like I kind of felt like the 16 had more pop and power overall, but the 14 was a little bit more in line with kind of my preferences of hitting, since I liked the 14 of the wide body. All right, I got some more playtime on the Q2s. I just wanted to give you guys my take on what the feel of the paddle is like. So I mentioned the 14 is a little bit less powerful than the 16. So the 16 has a lot more plow through and pop. So but it's not overly like much. So I would liken the 16's power and pop to like a Thrive Fury hybrid. So it's a little bit more, but then it's more predictable than say like a Loco. So a Loco has kind of that a springy dwell, and so that's the kind of that trampoline that you get with like a Pro 4 as well. So the RPM Q2 was a lot more predictable in terms of control because it didn't have that a high like trampoline power. So as you hit it, it was very predictable in terms of how far you got. So in terms of hollow, the RPM was kind of right in the middle, where it's not as stiff as like a enhanced duo, but it was kind of, and then it's not as like thuddy as like a Inferno. So it's like kind of right in the middle, which I think gives like really good feel. Cause like some paddles like the Inferno is like it's really squishy or loco. Like you can't really feel the ball as well as with the Q2. So the Q2, I think it has, yeah, I was playing with it. It has like amazing spin. The feel of it is good. I think the 14 is going to be really popular. 16 if you like a little bit more pop and power. So what makes these paddles awesome? So, I mean, not only was so let's talk about the spin and the grit on it. So I kind of talked about the feel of the paddles. So the spin on grit on these, they have. Actually, is it better? Oh yeah, sure. Let me see if I have any. No, like literally with every Friction Pro that I have, the Q2s, even this is even a new Friction Pro here. Oh yeah. So the Q2s are for sure like grittier than the Friction Pros. So I think they're supposed to all be in line with the new like RPM like V2s for the Friction Pros, and I think that's because since James was in China, he actually kind of honed in the process of their quality control, and then they actually switched to a different factory, which allowed them to manage it a lot better. So uh, I heard like basically any RPMs coming out now will essentially have the same like super gritty texture. So I mean, these are pretty amazing. Like I think the original one here wasn't as gritty, but yet that one still had a lot of spin. But then these ones, I mean, these are definitely going to be up there with grit. And not only that, but the Q2 has a lifetime warranty. So you have the amazing spin, you have a great feel, and you're not going to have the paddle break. So, I mean, the Friction Pros had a 1 year warranty, but then this was just another level up. It's like boomstick level, minus the edge guard issues. I mean, I can't tell you a review on like if it's gonna run into any problems, but I mean the quality on this looks like really good. And I was hitting with it, didn't notice any issues. Oh, also in terms of the design, so they changed the end caps. Uh, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of these other end caps. I actually like the old version. So this is the new version, which is kind of like this white out. The old version has this like gray, like metallic, like etched, like gunmetal on it. So I mean, I kind of prefer that old one. Maybe I'll like snag it off this one and throw it on the Q2s. But I mean, not a big deal. But I mean, some people might like that sleek, because kind of like the iPhone. They always change between going black is cool, then white is cool, then white is the new black, and vice versa. So I'm sure people have their preferences on that. But overall, like the paddle, like has been playing great. I'll have to do a more thorough review on the elongateds as well, when getting those, just to kind of compare, like, is that the same then with the pop of the 16 being higher for the elongated? I'll have to see. But I mean, nevertheless, like this one played really good. So this is one I've been using for the past like weeks, and then switch over to the wide body since that's my preference. But definitely excited to see these come out. I know it's launching around like right after Chinese New Year, so there's a super limited supply of these, and I'm sure they're gonna sell out really fast. So if you're interested in getting one, check out the discount codes. Not sure when they'll sell out, but they will be quick. All right. So if you have any questions, throw it in the chat, and I'll go ahead and answer them. All right. Let's thank Marwan, and hopefully we'll get him on to tell the rest of the paddle story of yeah what went on into the construction of creating this like four foam paddle.